does the LinkedIn algorithm work? Let's talk about it. What is LinkedIn? LinkedIn is a social media network primarily focused on business owners and people who want to find a job. For all intents and purposes, today we're going to only look at LinkedIn as a platform to connect with other business owners in a B2B marketing sense, meaning one business wants to sell something to another business. Because LinkedIn has an incredible number of decision makers in almost every country in the world. Almost every business in the world has a LinkedIn page, and almost every employee in a leadership position has a LinkedIn account. So it's super easy to reach out to decision makers and companies and find people who might become a future customer and to build networks that can you help grow your business. How can businesses attract customers on LinkedIn? There are three main ways how businesses can find customers for their business on LinkedIn. The first option is they can just do regular networking, meaning they're sending connection requests to specific people they want to reach out to, and then starting a one-to-one conversation via private messages. Option 2, you can run ads on LinkedIn. This is a very effective method, but also one of the most expensive methods as well. So LinkedIn ads only usually work really well if you're like a large corporation such as Oracle, who has a marketing budget to actually run large-scale LinkedIn campaigns throughout the entire year. Option number 3, you can create content on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the best publishing platforms in the B2B space. You can create everything from writing articles, creating newsletters, doing live streaming, sharing text, photos, videos, documents, having polls. It's a very effective method. If you know how to create the right content, you can reach people who are potential customers and then connect through the content with them. So what happens when you're creating a post on LinkedIn? They will see your post in the newsfeed. If it's an interesting bit of content, they will read it or they will watch it depending on what kind of content type you're using. And if you have chosen your topics carefully, you can actually make people think about something. For example, let's say you are an accountant and you're talking about a new law that comes into effect next month. And this would require companies to take a specific action if they want to save some taxes or if they want to avoid certain additional costs for their business. So by you sharing the right content at the right time and giving them valuable ideas what kind of action they can take, and then aligning those actions with what you can provide as a business, this makes it very easy for them to want to reach out to you to get this exactly done. So what every good post needs is you need a good content strategy. You need to know what topic are you writing, who are you writing it for. It needs a structure to create this thought in someone's mind. And it needs a transition, a strong call to action. How they can, now that this thought has matured in their mind, how can they take action on this thought and buy something from you? For that, you should always include your contact information, every post you're sharing. That doesn't have to be that you're putting your phone number or your email address inside. It could just be as simple as asking people to send you a connection request or to send you a personal message. Or you can tell people, hey, if you want to learn more, here's a link to my website, or here's a link to my LinkedIn profile, or here's a link to my email address. And then people can decide how they want to reach out to you. I call this my LinkedIn content funnel. You can build this in different complexity levels, like from fully one-to-one engagement, where every time someone reaches out, you have to do something, to fully automated, where you get people to sign up, for example, for a white paper to download this or for your newsletter. And then you can have an automated sequence where you can nurture the relationship until they are ready to buy. So you don't have to have too many unnecessary conversation depending on your business. So how does the LinkedIn algorithm decide who to show your post to? There are different factors which determine who will see your content. The first one is someone connected to you or is someone following you? This will be one of the strongest indicators if someone will see your content. So as you start to grow on LinkedIn, you will gain more followers and connections depending if you have like a regular profile or if you have selected a content creator mode. But if you're just starting out, you have to focus on getting into specific niches. And one of the best ways to get into a niche is to use hashtags, which are specific to a specific industry or subtopic. Now, if you want to find the right hashtags, you can also download my free LinkedIn hashtag guide, which I put in the description down below, which helps you exactly find the right hashtags for your business so you can use them. What's important is that you don't overdo it. You just want to have like 1 to 3 hashtags for most posts. So the LinkedIn algorithm is kind of like, you don't want to split up your attention too much. If you just have like 1 or 2 hashtags, there is a 50-50 chance that someone following this hashtag might see it or someone from that hashtag. If you put in 50 hashtags, you might only get like a 50th for one hashtag. So it's really important that you have very focused hashtags that are really relevant. The next factor is when LinkedIn shows your content to other people, they're measuring how long people are watching your content, and depending on that, they make certain conclusions about like what is your content all about. And I find people like with similarities, like if someone is always engaging on some AI topic, it might be also shown to some other people who always engage with some AI topic. It will also take into consideration if there is any other form of engagement. For example, is someone liking your post, is someone leaving a comment, did someone share something? LinkedIn is using all of this information to find similar people so that then can show your content to like-minded individuals, which is really important if you want to grow a laser-focused audience on LinkedIn. The most important factor for the LinkedIn algorithm is actually dwell time, which is really important. That only can be achieved if you have actually valuable content, meaning if you're writing something, you have to make sure that it's engaging. If you're creating a video, it has to be interesting, because if people are just watching like a video for 3 seconds and then clicking away and watching someone else's content, LinkedIn will think it's not really relevant and it's not really interesting. So if you want to optimize your content for dwell time, you have to focus on a couple of things. If you're writing text posts, you have to keep in mind that only like the first few lines of your text will be visible in the newsfeed. So one of the major actions that people take, and which tells LinkedIn actually this is a quality piece of content, is to click the read more button. So you can achieve that by actually teasing a little bit of your content, not giving everything away in the first few lines. You just want to raise a question, a really interesting question, which is like, what is the answer to that? They just have to know. And but just focusing on raising curiosity and asking this question, you forcing people to read the read more button. And this will really help the LinkedIn algorithm to show, hey, seems to be really interesting. And then what you can do is you can write shorter sentences, because the attention span is quite short on LinkedIn. So you have to make it really digestible. People might just read one of your posts when they're like on their lunch break or sitting on the bathroom. So when they're scrolling on their phone, it has to be readable. You can also add like line breaks in between, which also increases the readability. Shorter sentences, generally like less complicated words. And just try to think that your audience might not all be experts. You want to write it like in a conversational style so everyone can understand it. independent on what skill level is. If someone is just a beginner in your field, they should be able to understand it, or if someone is like an expert at their field. So try to keep the language simple, which makes it readable and digestible for everyone. When you're creating a video, it's really important that you're asking a question early on, which should summarize the value that someone is able to perceive when they're watching your video. So you could start your video, for example, what is the LinkedIn algorithm and how will it help you to achieve more sales on your business? So by instantly proposing what is the value, what is the result of watching this entire video, you're making people more likely to actually watch it. If you're starting a video and say like, hi, I'm Tim Queen and welcome to my video, and today I'm going to talk about something super interesting. People are not going to care about this. You have to make it interesting. You have to be like their punch, like, yeah, like they have to be like, wake up from their daydreaming, sleeping in the office. You have to really punch it in, because you just have like a few seconds of attention span until someone is just like, I'm either watching it or I'm going to be gone. So really make sure that you capture people's attention early on. When you're doing video, cut out all the fluff talk. Keep it interesting. It's really difficult to keep someone's attention span. Think of like a toddler who's watching your content, and every time like there's a bell ringing over there, like you have to keep them focused. You have to keep it chuck, 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 chuck. They only like have like a few seconds, and change something up, like make it more interesting, give some more value. It's really important that you get people to watch your content so the dwell time goes up. This is what you can do to optimize your content. Have quality content, raise curiosity early on, and then keep it short and sweet so people stay engaged. Then the dwell time goes up. LinkedIn thinks it's amazing content. It's also relevant, and LinkedIn will show it organically to the right people. This is 100 times more effective than using any type of manipulation, such as using an engagement port. I made a video about this over here. You can check it out. Now, when you're optimizing content, it's also equally important that you don't over-optimize your content. Otherwise, you don't get any results. You're getting like the wrong results. What I mean by over-optimize is you don't want to, like some people think like, oh, let's just use more hashtags. Let's write shorter sentences. Just make I'm telling you, like, make the language as simple as possible. Some people might go over and say like, let's use baby language. 3-word sentences, 5 line breaks in between. 20 hashtags, make every word a hashtag. Freak out on camera and just like, you have to do this, like, you don't want to overdo it. Like, there is a sweet spot between being too boring and being overboard. And you always want to find the sweet spot whatever you're doing. It's a learning curve, it will take some time. But if you can find the sweet spot, what is the sweet spot for hashtags? What is the sweet spot for creating curiosity? You don't want to create clickbait, which is promising something just for the sake of getting people to click the read more button and then don't deliver on it. You have to actually write your introduction or phrase your question, which is actually in alignment with what they're actually getting. You can't just make up something crazy just to get people to click on it, and then you're not delivering it, or you're telling something else. Because then you will get people who will show negative engagement, they might unfollow you, they might disconnect from you, they might report your post as spam, and then your post will actually go down the drain. What content topics and themes work best to attract customers on LinkedIn? The best topic in any industry is answering questions that potential customers are facing in their business. And depending on like what kind of niche you're targeting, you can be very specific. You can have something 100% aligned with a specific service, but you can also go broader and you can say, hey, it's only partially related. For example, if you're an accountant, one thing could be about like how to find the right accountant. That would be perfectly aligned with your business. You could go broader and you could talk about more financial matters in a business, like how can you manage your money as a startup? Or how can you take advantage of certain tax incentives? You can also talk about broader topics that are only relevant in your customer's industry, specifically if you are targeting a specific industry or niche. This is super powerful because this also creates thought leadership in that entire space. So you will see a lot of people recommending your content if you like creating like broader content relevant for your customers. So you will get like a lot of random encounters where people like bringing in like more people that you didn't even like know about it. They're starting sharing your content because it's more relevant for their industry. And then before you know it, you have like an audience of like 5,000, 10,000 followers who are following you every move, everything you're publishing on LinkedIn. And this is really what you want. You want to get a laser focused audience who perceive you as the thought leader. And then when you're creating content, focus on dwell time, you will see that the LinkedIn algorithm is your best friend and will help you grow your business. And you don't need any kind of trickery, just good content and understanding how to create natural, organic engagement. Now, if you want to learn more about how to build a LinkedIn content strategy, you can also check out my LinkedIn Accelerator program, where I talk you through all the different steps from defining your audience, defining like what topics and themes to talk about, show exactly how to write a LinkedIn post, how to structure your content, and how to promote your content inside and outside of LinkedIn to get even more people to connect with you. You can also download my free LinkedIn hashtag guide. I put it down in the description as well. And if you want to get more videos, make sure that you subscribe, turn notifications on, and I see you next one. Bye.